There's a plot twist in Santa Clara today, a surprise move in the backfield, a battle that could redefine roster spots, a speed threat landing by air, and a familiar mind returning to steer the defense with sharper ideas. All of it shakes up the plan for September and the heart of the 49ers faithful. Who truly gains ground, who loses it, and who can swing games when the pressure spikes? Astonished, you won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. Ready for the episode that might change your week? Let's roll. Deep breath, faithful, because the offensive plan just added a piece that changes play calls and closes out tight games. Picture a runner who absorbs contact, reads blocks with patience, and turns 2nd and 8 into manageable third downs. Imagine red zone gravity, defenses inching back, play action getting scarier, and those fourth quarters where the legs still answer when the clock demands ice-cold execution. Add a modest price tag and a front office that doesn't wait for the storm to arrive. Per reporting from Nikki Jobvala, The Athletic, and Adam Schefter, ESPN, the San Francisco 49ers are acquiring running back Brian Robinson for a 2026 sixth-round pick. In 3 seasons with Washington, he logged 570 carries, 2,329 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Last year alone, 187 attempts for 799 yards and 8 TDs, career highs. At 26, he steps in as Christian McCaffrey's right-hand man, physical, reliable, strong in pass protection, and useful on checkdowns when the blitz hits. Tactically, Robinson brings downhill power for inside zone and gap concepts, but he's disciplined enough to follow the flow in outside zone, the system's signature. He keeps the offense in short yardage on 2nd down, reduces predictability, and preserves the play-action game, where Brock Purdy, or whoever's under center, finds cleaner windows. In heavy weather nights when you need to melt the clock, having a hammer next to McCaffrey avoids overloading RB1 and preserves explosion for the decisive moment. In January, that's gold. On the other side, Washington reshapes its backfield and signals a new direction. Austin Eckler and Jacare Crosky-Merritt should carry much of the ground load. For the 49ers, the price paid screams ambition without burning premium capital. Fans are reacting exactly as passionate fans do. Some cheer a luxury depth ad, others wonder if O-line and the secondary should have come first. Both sides have a point. This team's recent success comes when it imposes physicality, tempo, and varied looks. This move reinforces that identity. If the plan hits, Robinson becomes the shock absorber for a long season. He takes hits, steadies drives, and gives Kyle Shanahan freedom to draw up creative sequences that feed McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. Picture 21 personnel with Kyle Juszczyk, Robinson as the tone setter, and McCaffrey toggling between backfield and slot to stress the second level. In the short term, he solves 1 or 2 yard must-haves. In the midterm, he widens the margin for error when the inevitable injuries come. Long term, he keeps premium fuel in the tank for steeper climbs. There's also the locker room effect. When the front office invests, even modestly, in real depth, the message is simple: we're not living on improvisation. So here's the question for you to stamp in the comments. What's Robinson's ideal workload to preserve McCaffrey without dulling the offense? 30% of snaps? 40? Because that balance could be the detail that decides games in 2025. And while we digest this smart play, brace yourself. What's next is even more unbelievable. If the first bomb already shook the fan base, hold tight, because this next part brings even more drama. The 49ers backfield turned into an injury saga that would test Kyle Shanahan's patience. It's almost unreal before the regular season even kicks off. The list of injuries feels like a rerun of last year. And just when fans thought Jeff Wilson Jr. had a clear path to revive his red and gold story, the punch landed fast. Brian Robinson's arrival completely reshuffles the deck. Let's break it down. Jordan James, the promising rookie, broke his finger. Corey Kiner, who could have been a rotation piece, suffered a high ankle sprain and was removed from the roster. Patrick Taylor Jr., with a shoulder injury, saw his season end before it began. Amir Abdullah, a safety valve option, went down with a rib injury. The result? A room that should have given McCaffrey breathing room became an ER ward in Santa Clara, and fans felt that chill. Are we about to survive another year on improvisation in the Mellers? That's where Jeff Wilson Jr.'s name resurfaced as a potential savior. He knows the building, has a history with the team, and even scored a preseason touchdown against the Raiders, rekindling memories of a trusted contributor under the Levi's lights. But football is ruthless. Robinson arrived, and the spot that looked open may now be closing, right in front of Wilson's eyes. The contrast is stark. Last year, Wilson was traded after McCaffrey arrived. Now, on his return, he could be cut precisely because the front office refuses to rely on luck with injuries. Robinson brings power, youth, and consistency, traits that weigh heavily over a 17-game projection compared to a veteran trying to recapture past form. Fans are already debating on forums: chase nostalgia with Wilson, or lock in security with Robinson and Isaac Guerendo as the immediate reserve. Here's the strategic piece many overlook. San Francisco can't afford mistakes in the backfield. McCaffrey is the roster's most indispensable star, and every extra snap he carries due to shallow depth raises the risk of a season-wide collapse. Robinson reduces that risk. Guerendo adds youthful burst. In that context, Wilson looks like insurance, potentially too expensive for a roster that fights for every inch. So yes, the suspense is real. Jeff Wilson needs one last brilliant preseason act to convince Shanahan he deserves another run. But will a strong showing be enough to erase Robinson's shadow? Or are we watching in real time the end of an emotional chapter between player and fan base? Drop your take. Would you keep Wilson for the emotional tie, or stay cold and logical with the front office's path? Like it or not, the final call could come this week. And while everyone's debating, buckle up, what's next isn't just roster churn. It's a two-front shock that hits different parts of this team. Just as the dust starts to settle, another move rattles the locker room. It wasn't only Brian Robinson who landed, an aerial boost just changed the mood in Santa Clara. The 49ers went out and grabbed Sky Moore from the Chiefs, along with Robinson from Washington, paying day 3 capital to plug 2 injury-riddled spots. That's a bold GM play. Instead of waiting for the market to fall in their lap, San Francisco attacks the pain points and sends a crystal-clear message. No more improvising in 2025. In the timing, perfectly dramatic. On Saturday, the team faces the Chargers in the 3rd preseason game, and the stage is set for new protagonists. Brock Purdy is likely sitting alongside other starters, which opens the door for Mac Jones and the reserves to make their case. But let's be honest, the faithful's eyes will be glued to 3 names that could define the next chapter. First, Sky Moore. At 24, he steps into a wide receiver room ravaged by injuries. Jacorian Jennings with a calf, Jacob Cowing nursing a hamstring, Jordan Watkins on a high ankle sprain, and Demarcus Robinson suspended. There's room and there's need. Moore flashed in Kansas City and could become central fast if he clicks. He also has punt return experience, though the ball security reputation triggers alerts among the pickiest fans. If he steadies the hands and finds rhythm in Shanahan's spacing, opportunity is massive. Second, Jake Moody. After a statement outing against the Raiders, 5 for 6 with a 59-yarder to win it, the young kicker might be living his best moment in red and gold. Special teams coordinator Brant Boyer put it plainly, that kind of confidence can change careers. The question is whether Moody can turn a flash into week-to-week consistency, the missing piece last season that can decide whether January is spent at home or on the road in hostile NFC weather. And finally, Jacorier Brown. The safety who arrived as a promise hasn't convinced yet. Meanwhile, rookie Marquez Sigel has gotten first-team reps and Jason Pinnock is pushing hard. For Brown, the Chargers game could be a pivot point. Either he boosts his stock and secures his role, or he becomes trade talk. On a team that's lost talent before due to misreads in the secondary, Shanahan knows he can't get this one wrong. This game, even without stars, is a showcase for guys clawing for a spot on the final 53. It's one of those nights where, even without Purdy, Ayuk, or Bosa, you keep watching because in San Francisco, preseason details often turn into January leverage. Now the question echoes, which of these names turns opportunity into legacy? If you think you've seen everything, hold on. The next chapter features a surprising return to the heart of the defense. Just when you think the surprises are done, a comeback hits the 49ers, faithful right in the soul. Robert Saleh is back. Yes, the same defensive coordinator who helped mold this unit's identity from 2017 to 2020, building a wall with Nick Bosa. Fred Warner and company returns after his run as head coach of the New York Jets. Only now he brings an even sharper lens, and that might be the key to turning an already strong unit into something historic. What jumps out is how Saleh describes meetings with Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't talk about standard sit-downs, but bona fide football classes. In his words, every session is like stealing gold. Just write down what Shanahan says and you leave better. Praise like that from a coach who's seen multiple philosophies shows that the engine driving San Francisco goes beyond elite talent. There's a culture of constant learning. Pair that with a coordinator who extracts the maximum from his players, and the result can be devastating for opponents. More than that, Saleh admits that after his head coaching stint, he learned to study the game through a broader lens. He spent time with offense, understanding windows, patterns, and the reads quarterbacks make. Back in the DC chair, he can use that perspective to anticipate what rival offenses are trying to do. In practical terms, it means a defense that doesn't just react, it dictates, accelerates the tempo, and dismantles plans before they even form. The impact could be immediate. The 49ers have promising youngsters who need polish and veterans conditioned to elite standards. Saleh already proved he can develop stars. Fred Warner became a global reference under his watch, and Nick Bosa evolved into a quarterback's nightmare. With new faces arriving and a chance to reshape the secondary, the script can repeat itself. Fans should expect a more versatile, aggressive defense with an extra layer of intelligence. It's no exaggeration to say, Saleh's return feels like a blue-chip acquisition, just off the field. He knows the building, he knows the system, and he brings rare cross-disciplinary insight. In a league where microscopic adjustments decide playoff games, having someone who sees offense and defense at a high level is priceless. So here's my question. Can this defense get back to that 2019 standard when it dominated the NFL and carried the team to the Super Bowl? If the Shanahan-Saleh connection clicks again, the entire league will have to look at Santa Clara with a little fear. Faithful, take a breath. Today we saw a 49ers team bold and clear about what it takes to win in January. Brian Robinson arrives to share the load with McCaffrey and shorten third downs. The injury drama reshapes the backfield and puts Jeff Wilson on the edge. Sky Moore becomes an immediate card to play while the reserves fight for spots against the Chargers. And Robert Saleh's return lights the fuse for a defense that's smarter and nastier. Now it's your turn. Which move moves the needle most in 2025? Comment, share, smash the like, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with more heat and sharp analysis.